In this video, I want to share with you how I was able to replace my 9-to-5 income, which was £5,000 per month, while I was still working my 9-to-5 job. I'm going to explain everything that I did, the steps that I took, and the lessons that I learned. And then once I've been through that and I've shared with you what you should do and what you shouldn't do, I'll then explain what I would do differently, knowing what I know now, so that you can experience the same thing that I experienced, but without any of the mistakes and in half the time as well. So the first thing that I did, I was working a 9-to-5. This was back in, I think, like 2017, maybe 2018. And I could see all these people online. They were talking about how they were making loads of money. And so I bought a course from somebody, and the course was teaching people how to start their own course. And it was teaching people how to basically make like $100,000 per month. And I thought it sounded amazing. So I thought, that's what I want. I'd love to be able to earn that amount of money. So I'm going to buy that course. And it didn't really work out for me. And the reason it didn't work out for me is because there was a load of like beginner knowledge that I was lacking. I was just going straight to the, to the top of the pile trying to learn from these people. And I didn't really understand. I didn't have a base level of understanding. It did give me a lot of lessons on how to think differently, which was really good. But I guess the main lesson from this mistake is that you need to choose the right vehicle very carefully. What works for one person is not going to work for somebody else. Think of it like a Formula One driver. They don't start in a Formula One car, they start in a go-kart, and they progress as they get better. And the same should be true for business models. You shouldn't start up here because you're not going to be able to compete with the people that are up here. It's too difficult to learn. There's a lot of skills that you haven't developed by kind of building up to that. So when I bought that course, there was a lot of references to how selling a service is much easier to sell than information. Obviously, a course, you're selling information. So I picked up on that. I was unable to sell any courses. I picked up on the fact that selling a service is easier, according to the person that I bought the course from. So I decided I'd sell a service instead of a course, because I was getting pretty tired at this stage. Probably hadn't been that long, but I was hungry and ambitious, and I wanted to start making money outside of my 9-to-5 so that I could eventually quit. That was my goal. So I heard that selling a service was a lot easier. Again, that's another lesson, a lesson about context. Don't copy what other people are doing, because what works for them may not and probably won't work for you. And I made that mistake. I just jumped in, I saw what people were doing, and I thought copy, 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 when really I was just not in the same place to be able to copy. So there's this kind of saying that don't do what people tell you to do what they're already doing. And that's just the biggest load of bull ever, because people are at different journeys, different stages in their career, in their entrepreneurial life. So understand that context is everything. When I started selling a service, I decided I was going to sell Facebook advertising to businesses. Any business, any shape, any size, I didn't care. I just wanted to start making progress. I wanted to start making some money. And what I did is I decided to charge a low monthly fee for my service. And this is really for two reasons. Reason number one is that I was tired of not having any money come in. I'd been doing this for, a few months at least. And I'd spent money on courses, spent money on trying to sell my own course, create my own course. I just wanted some money. So I was impatient and I wanted something. And secondly is I didn't really have the trust of anybody. I didn't have any previous experience, any testimonials, anything like that. So I thought selling my services for a low cost would alleviate some of that trust that is required from a client to want to actually work with me. And there's a couple of lessons that I learned through that experience. And the first is that when you charge a small amount of money for your services, you get the worst clients. That became evident when clients would be blowing up my phone saying like, I've just spent $10 on Facebook ads and I haven't got anything in return. Like, what is going on? What's happening? When am I going to start getting clients? When am I going to start, becoming a multimillionaire from my $10 a day ad budget? And it was a bit of a nightmare. So that was kind of lesson number one. Another lesson that you can take away from this video is that everybody starts somewhere. I was charging £197 per month for Facebook advertising services. And it seems kind of ridiculous now that I would ever charge that amount, but I did. And everybody starts somewhere, and I didn't have any results, and slowly but surely I got results. So don't let the fact that you don't have any experience, you might not have any results, you might not have anything to show that's going to allow you to sign clients. Don't let that stop you, because as I say, everybody has to start somewhere. And for me, it was charging £197 per month. And when I started to sign my first client, and then my second client, then my third client, I started to get momentum and things started to shift. And I wasn't earning that much money. I was earning like £800 per month, but it was something. And another lesson here is that the first dollar online, the first client that you sign, They're always the hardest. And when you get momentum, things start to shift. And what I started with, charging £200 per month per client, and then what I ended up charging were two very different things. So one thing to bear in mind is like things are going to evolve, and you're not going to know how they're going to evolve by standing still. Only through momentum will you see the other opportunities. But when you're stood at the start line and you can't see out into the distance, you don't know what's going to happen. You have to basically start taking those steps and progressing on that journey before you can start to picture what life might be like. So the reason I share this with you is you don't want to basically start a business, or should I say not start a business, because you think, I don't want to be doing this for the rest of my life. You probably aren't going to be doing it. The thing that you start off doing is going to be very different to the thing that you actually do in the end. So don't worry about, do I have a deep level of passion for this thing? Because it's going to change over time. And just remember that. So start a business. If you do want to replace your 9-to-5 income, start a business that's going to allow you to do that. And then when you do that, it's going to open up loads of different opportunities. Don't think I've got to start the thing that I want to do for the rest of my life, because that doesn't happen for anybody. What I did once I started to get a few clients is I got a little bit overwhelmed. I got too many clients. And when I say too many, it wasn't loads, but because I was charging quite a small amount, they were very demanding clients. And I decided I was going to hire a VA. So I hired a VA from the Philippines, and I paid her about $700 a month to help me do some of the client fulfillment. And it was turning into a proper little business. I was probably earning like £3,000 per month in profit, and my goal was £5,000. That's what my current income was at the time. I was £5,000 a month from my 9-to-5 job. And then I decided to do something that in hindsight has made me an awful lot of money over the years. And I decided to double my prices. I went from charging £200 to £400 per month. And a lesson there is, if you ever want to increase your income as a business owner, increase your prices. It's the quickest and the easiest way to do so. 9 times out of 10 has very little impact over whether you're going to be able to sign new clients or not. Usually the price is not the biggest determining factor to working with you. So I doubled my prices and I hit my £5,000 per month goal. And then I decided to make sure that I could continue to hit that goal. So I worked in my business earning £5,000 profit per month for 3 months before I decided to quit my job. I didn't want to just throw in the towel on my 9-to-5 and quit because I had a mortgage to pay. And maybe you're watching this, maybe you've got rent, you've got a mortgage, you've got a young family, you've got dependents of some description. And it's not wise to just think, right, I'm going to go all in. I'm going to quit my 9-to-5. I'm going to burn the bridges. I'm going to burn the boats, and I'm going to go all in. I think that's a stupid thing to do, because it can take some people much longer than others. So don't burn your boats, don't burn your bridges is my lesson there. So that's how I got to £5,000 per month. And I'm really glad that I took those steps, because my life has changed in ways that I never thought it would. And again, I would never have known that by starting out when I was charging £200 per month for Facebook advertising services. But what I want to do now, more importantly, is explain what I would do differently, knowing what I know now. Because you might be in a situation where you haven't started this journey yet. And I'm going to explain what I would do if I was basically back in my previous self at 2017, 2018, I didn't know what I was doing. This is what I would do then, knowing what I know now. I would do one small thing differently, just one subtle shift that would make the world of difference. And instead of going to businesses and charging them money for my services, I would do it all on a results basis. I'd get paid for the results that I generate. Now, this is going to do a few things, a few key things. It's going to allow me to probably sign clients a little bit easier. Although I didn't really struggle to sign clients, I was only charging £200, but I would probably sign clients a little bit easier. I would be able to sign a higher caliber client, even with little experience or no experience. And by signing a higher caliber client, what that means is that they are easier to manage because they're not as demanding. They're not saying, where's that $10 gone? I need it back ASAP. And they're worth a lot more as well, because it doesn't take much to generate £200 worth of results, which is what I was charging. So you could easily make clients worth $1,000, £1,000 per month. And what that means is that you can, not only does it make each client that you manage a lot easier, but it means that you don't have to manage as many clients as well. So it's a double kind of knock-on effect. Every single client's easier to manage, and you have to manage less of them. And that's what I would do differently, is I would just do that subtle change. Instead of charging a flat monthly fee for my services, I would charge based off results, and it would make my life an awful lot easier. And I could do one or two things there. I could either stay at the certain number of clients that I was working with and I could earn a lot more, or I could kind of take the chilled route and I could just stop at like 5,000 per month and just work with less clients and be less work, less headaches, less stress, and it would just be a much easier business to run. But it's a small change just by changing the method of kind of payment, and it makes a massive difference. You sign better clients, they're easier to manage, you make more money, life is a lot easier. So that's my journey from complete newbie to earning £5,000 per month and being able to quit my job. I now live out here in Dubai full time, and life is very, very different. And nothing would be possible or achievable if I didn't take that first step. And I know sometimes the first step is the hardest, and that's why I wanted to create this video for you, to give you the encouragement to take that first step. Because once you do, the opportunities that are available, the life that you want is available the other side of making a decision. And if you want help to be able to start selling based off results, selling leads to businesses as opposed to flat monthly fees that are difficult to sell, if you want to basically start the business that I wish I started when I first started in my entrepreneurial journey, then click the first link in the description. It's going to take you to a video that explains how the business model works and everything that's involved. And then if you want to, you can book in a call. You'll be speaking with myself directly. And if you've got value from this video, consider giving it a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one.